conversation with the Anunaki God, Book 1, Chapter 1. You are about to have an extraordinary experience. You are about to have a conversation with God. Yes, I know. So, so naive. That's not possible. You probably think or have been taught that's not possible. One can talk to God, sure, but not with God. I mean, God is not going to talk back, right? No, it won't talk back. It sends someone else. At least not in the form of a regular, everyday kind of conversation. And to understand my sentence C, my answer to that is that this God doesn't talk back to you, doesn't talk. It sends something else that you don't see. How do you know is God when you don't see it? Huh? Anunnaki is a vast family. There's so many of them. It's a legion. There's a lot and lot of them, lot and lot. So who are supposed to know who is that behind the scenes, behind the curtain, behind the veil? How sure are you that it will be a God talking or something else? At least not in the form of a regular, so one can talk to God, sure, but not with God. I mean, God is not going to talk back, right? At least not in the form of a regular, everyday kind of conversation. That's what I thought it too. Then this book happened to me, and I mean that literally. This book was not written by me, it happened to me, and in your reading of it, it will happen to you, for we are all led to the truth for which we are ready. My life would probably be much easier if I had kept all of this quiet. Yet, that wasn't the reason it happened to me, and whatever inconveniences the book may cause me, such as being called a blasphemer, a fraud, a hypocrite, for not having lived these truths in the past, or perhaps worse, a holy man. It is not possible for me to stop the process now, nor do I wish to. I have had many chances to step away from this whole thing, and I haven't taken them. I have decided to stick with what my instincts are telling me, rather than what much of the world will tell me about the material here. Well, I think that these beings will use you until they have enough use for you, and then they will just discard you. I don't think that they will come anytime you call them. You understand? They won't be available for you anytime you want to. Those instincts say this book's not nonsense, the overwork of frustrated spiritual imagination, or simply the self-justification of a man seeking vindication for a life misled. Oh, I've thought all of those things, every one of them. So I gave this material to a few people to read while it was still in manuscript form. They were moved, and they cried, and they laughed for the joy and the human in it. And their lives, they said, changed. They were transfixed. They were empowered. Many say they were transformed. Yeah, it can happen as a catalyst simply because they use you for this new age right now, because they want to do away with this species. They don't need this species anymore. They want to do away with it, and they want to change a species. So once everybody's waked, they will finish everything. So as long as one species remains ignorant to the truth, to the nature, and that's why they are talking against religion, because the religions, it kind of put you inside the box. They want to remove you from inside the box. They will place you inside a box, a context. You see, a convention, a theological convention. Jews, as long as you held onto religion, you're gonna be having the beliefs, the thoughts, and the experiences of others. And this anunakis want you to have your own experience and for everybody to wait between parentheses and evolve between parentheses so that their plan can better running consecutively and smoothly as planned. Okay, so as long as there is a person who is ignorant, who is still inside religion, they won't finish everything, so they go bit by bit, a bit of a calamity here, a bit of a calamity there, diseases, pandemics, etc., through their minions here. And once they do away with it, that's it. Okay, they're gonna finish everything, and they're gonna shift this causal bodies, we call ethereal bodies, whatever, to another planet. We are going to be allocated to another planet, while this planet will be used to housing yet another body form. It will be a bioman, a half machine, half biologic. Okay, so this is what their plan is, and I'm not for it. I'm not for it. Okay, also I'm not very much against it, but also I'm not for it either. I'm neutral. Do you understand? But I rather don't they give up all this madness, because to me it's a madness. However, there's much we can do. Okay, they want to get away from this body. So that's why mass depopulation is expected through diseases. There's many people over there doing something, 30 something, who is just dropping dead, going to the ER room and suddenly die out of nothing with poisoned blood, heart attack, colon problem, kidney problem. Okay, they are just die like this out of nothing. This is called mass depopulation. Then now there is the super drugs that is causing bacteria to attack your body. There is the amoeba eating brain, the brain eating amoeba. Sorry, I talk reversed. So there's the brain eating amoeba. Okay, and even in the drugs today, you must be careful when you take that, because there's one who's poisoning your blood. So there's so many people just see out of nowhere suddenly get blood cancer, kidney problem, kidney failure, heart failure, all kind of diseases, viruses, bacterial, etc. Because they want to do away. They will say for this, they take a card and then they decide this town, this country, this continent will be depopulated bit by bit. They don't do it at once. It's simultaneously. It's not sometimes. It's routine procedures that they do. They just run it concurrently, not all at once. Want to be generalized, but bit by bit. They will send an earthquake, send the floods, etc., to depopulate the mass, because they are planning another body suit. And some of us is going to be allocated with our family. The rest, the mortal remains, that is called the light body or the causal body, will be joined up with some of our families in another planet, maybe, or maybe not. Sometimes they divide the family and bloodline to make more dramas, because they don't have feelings. They are totally empathic. Okay, apathic, not empathic, apathic. They got no feelings, they got no remorse, whatever. So I decide to stick with my instinct and telling me rather than what much of the world would tell me about the material here. So the truth of the past perhaps was a holy man. It's not possible for me to stop the process now, nor do I wish to. I have had my chance to step away from this whole thing and I haven't taken them. I've decided to stick with what my instincts are telling me rather than what much of the world will tell me about the material here. Those instincts say this book is not nonsense, the overwork of a frustrated spiritual imagination, or simply the self-justification of a man seeking vindication from a life misled. Oh, I've thought of all those things, every one of them, so I gave this material to a few people. So, okay. Men say the world transformed. That's when I knew this book was for everyone and that it had to be published. For it's a wonderful gift for all those who truly want answers and who truly care about the question. Hello, so this is not correct. They have fooled you. They tell you what they want you to know, what they want eyes, in fact, to know, not what is the truth. They don't want to tell the whole truth. Okay, they will going around in circles around the bushes, but they won't remove the cat totally out of the bag. For all those who have embarked upon quests for truth with sincerity of heart, longing of soul and openness of mind, and that spreads much all of us, this book addresses most, if not all, of the questions we have ever asked about life and love, purpose and function, people and relationships, good and evil, guilt and sin, forgiveness and redemption, the path to God and the road to hell. Everything. It directly discusses sex, power, money, children, marriage, divorce, life, work, health, the hereafter, the before now, everything. It explores war and peace, knowing and not knowing, giving and taking, joy and sorrow. It looks at the concrete and the abstract, the visible and the invisible, the truth and the untruth. You could say that this book is God's latest word on things. Although some people might have a little trouble with that, particularly if they think that God stopped talking 2,000 years ago, or that if God has continued communication, it has been only with holy man, medicine woman, or someone who has been meditating for 30 years, or good for 20, or at least half decent for 10, none of which categories includes me. None of which categories includes me. The truth is, God talks to everybody, the good and the bad, the saint and the scoundrel, and certainly all of us in between. I don't think so, sir. Take you for instance. God has come to you in many ways in your life, and this is another of them. How many times have you heard the old axiom, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? This book is our teacher. Shortly after this material began happening to me, I knew that I was talking with God directly, personally, irrefutably, and that God was responding to my question in direct proportion to my ability to comprehend. That is, I was being answered in ways, in with language that God knew I would understand. This accounts for much of the colloquial style of the writing and the occasional references to material I gathered from one sources and prior experiences in my life. I know now that everything that has ever come to me in my life has come to me from God, and it was now being drawn together, pulled together, and in a magnificent, complete response to every question I ever had. And somewhere along the way, I realized that a book was being produced, a book intended for publication. Indeed, I was told specifically during the later part of the dialogue in February 1993 that 3 books would actually be produced, and that the first would deal mainly with personal topics, focus on individuals' life challenges and opportunities. The second book would deal with more global topics of geopolitical and metaphysical life on the planet and the challenges now facing the world. The world. The third book would deal with universal truths of the highest order and the challenges and opportunities of the soul. You know what? That they never mentioned about aliens, huh? They just scoured the surface in that third book. They didn't went straight to the point, straight to the kill and tell, yeah, there's an alien. They just, it kind of just scoured the surface. This is the first of those books completed in February 1993. For clarity, I should explain that as I transcribed this dialogue by hand, I underlined or circled the words and sentences which came to me with particular emphasis, as if God were booming them out, and these were later placed in italics by the typesetter. I need now to say that I am having read and reread the wisdom contained here, deeply embarrassed by my own life, which has been marked by continued mistakes and misdeeds, some very shameful behaviors and some choices and decisions which I am certain others consider hurtful and unforgivable. Though I have profound remorse, but once through others' pain, I am unspeakably grateful for all that I have learned and found that I have still yet to learn. Hey, but your Anunnaki God there say that we are not here to learn, that we are here to remember because of the people in my life. So I yet to learn because of the people in my life. I apologize to everybody for this slowness of that learning. Yet I am encouraged by God to grant myself forgiveness for my failings and not to live in fear and guilt, but to always keep on trying to live a grander vision. I know that's what God's one wants for all of us. Meldon was Central Point, Oregon. Christmas 1994. Chapter 1. In the spring of 1992, it was around the Easter, as I recall, an extraordinary phenomenon occurred in my life. God beginning talking with you through me. Let me explain. I was very unhappy during the period personally, professionally, and emotionally, and my life was feeling like a failure on all levels. As I'd been in the habit for years of writing my thoughts down in letters, which I usually never delivered, I picked up my trusty yellow legal pad and began pouring out my feelings. This time, rather than another letter to another person, I imagined to be victimizing me. I thought I would go straight to the source, straight to the greatest victimizer of them all. I decided to write a letter to God. It was a spiteful, passionate letter, full of confusion, contortions, and condemnations, and a pile of angry questions. Why wasn't my life working? Why would it take to get it to work? Why could I not find happiness in relationships? Was the experience of adequate money going to elude me forever? Finally, and most emphatically, what had I done to deserve a life of such continuing struggle? Nothing. You just have to be misconfigured by these beings, alright? Or you come here with a purpose and they give you, they give you bitter medicine to swallow. They have given you a lot of trouble and a life will just slap you all over. Because these beings are like this. They are kind of sadist. And they think that by if someone has come here to serve for some purpose, to teach people, to inform people of something, they may as well learn it through beatings. It's just like Satan, the planet Satan, which is the school of Harry Knox. So that's what they do. You did nothing. It's not necessarily that you did something wrong. Not necessarily that. In fact, if you have done something wrong, they will pat you on the shoulder. Oh, good job, boy. Good job. Good job. But because you didn't, they have the need to hurt you, and they hurt you very badly, especially so when you are quiet, good person. You understand? Because this word is a word of the bad ones. If you are bad, you belong to the team, you belong to the club. Otherwise, you are out. You understand? So, you didn't necessarily have to do nothing to deserve all what you get. Nothing. In fact, it was the opposite. Because you didn't do anything that could have praised them, those beings. To my surprise, as I scribbled out the last of my bitter, unanswerable questions and prepared to toss my pen aside, my hand remained poised over the paper, as if held there by some invisible force. Abruptly, the pen began moving on its own. I had no idea what I was about to write, but an idea seemed to be coming, so I decided to flow with it. Out came. Do you really want an answer to all these questions, or are you just inventing? And we cannot invent it, sir. We cannot invent it, huh? We have to swallow it all inside. Don't cry out loud, is it? Have to put bottle up all inside. That's nonsense. I blinked, and then my mind came up with a reply. I wrote that down too. Both. I'm inventing sure. But if these questions have the answers, I'd sure as hell like to hear them. You are sure as hell about a lot of things, but wouldn't it be nice to be sure as heaven? And it's still very ironic, like make fool of people's face, of people's suffering. They make fool because not them. They are okay. They have different bodies. They have prowesses. They have power, and we don't. And I wrote, what's that supposed to mean? Before I knew it, I had begun a conversation, and I was not writing so much as taking dictation. That dictation went on for 3 long years, and at that time I had no idea where it was going. The answers to the questions I was put on paper never came to me until the question was completely written and I put my own thoughts away. Often the answers came faster than I could write, and I found myself scribbling to keep up. When I became confused or lost the feeling that the words were coming from somewhere else, I put the pen down and walked away from the dialogue until I again felt inspired. So that's the only word which truly fits to return to the yellow legal pad and start transcribing again. These conversations are still going on as I write this, and much of it is found on the pages which follow, pages which contain an astounding dialogue, which at first I disbelieved, then assumed to be a personal value, but which I now understand was meant for more than just me. It was meant for you and everyone else who has come to this material, for my questions are your questions. This guy here, he have a Nunaki lineage. He's a bit like, he looks Amish a bit. He has a Nunaki and Jewish ancestry. That's my feeling. Understand? These my feelings. If he do a DNA test, he will find out. Of course, the DNA test won't tell you your DNA here have Anunnaki, Europe, Hebraic, etc. Of course, you won't say like that. You won't say Anunnaki, but by his Hebraic or heritage and Amish, he do have some Anunnaki on that. All right. Later we go there to talk about who is a anunnaki here. I'm not an anunnaki. I'm another. Later I'm gonna say who is the anunnaki. So there are this I still going also. This conversation is meant for you and everyone else who has come to this material. But my questions are your questions. I want you to get in this dialogue as soon as you can, because what's really important here is not my story but yours. It's your life story which brought you here. It is your personal experience to which this material has relevancy. Otherwise you would not be here with it right now. So let's enter this dialogue with a question I have been asking for a very long time. How does God talk, and to whom? When I ask this question, here's the answer I received. I talk to everyone all the time. The question is not to whom do I talk, but who listens. Intrigued, I asked God to expand on this subject. Here's what God said. First, let's exchange the word talk with the word communicate. It's a much better word. A much fuller, more accurate one. When we try to speak to each other, me to you and you to me, we are immediately constricted by the unbelievable limitations of words. For this reason, I do not communicate by words alone. In fact, rarely do I do so. My most common form of communication is through feeling. Feeling is the language of the soul. If you want to know what's true for you about something, look to how you are feeling about it. Feelings are sometimes difficult to discover and often even more difficult to acknowledge. Yet, hidden in your deepest feeling is your highest truth. The trick is to get to those feelings. I will show you how again if you wish. I told God that I did wish, but that right now I wished even more for a complete and full answer to my first question. Here's what God said. I also communicate with thought. Thought and feelings are the same, although they can occur at the same time. In communication with thought, I often use images and pictures. For this reason, thoughts are more effective than mere words as tools of communication. In addition to feelings and thoughts, I use the vehicle of experience as a grand communicator. And finally, when feelings and thoughts and experience all fail, I use words. Words are really the least effective communicator. They are most open to misinformation, misinterpretation, most often misunderstood. And why is that? It's because of what words are. Words are merely utterances, noises that stand for feelings, thoughts, and experience. They are symbols, signs, insignias. They are not truth. They are not the real thing. Words may help you understand something. Experience allows you to know. Yet there are some things you cannot experience. So I have given you other tools of knowing, and these are called feelings, and so too thoughts. Now the supreme irony here is that you have all placed so much importance on the word of God and so little on the experience. In fact, you place so little value on experience that when what you experience of God differs from what you've heard of God, you automatically discard the experience and own the words, when it should be just the other way around. Your experience and your feelings about things represent what you factually and intuitively know about that thing. Words can only seek to symbolize what you know and can often confuse what you know. These then are the tools with which I communicate. Yet they are not the methods, for not all feelings, not all thoughts, not all experience, and not all words are from me. Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. We must filter our thoughts and emotions. Many words have been ushered by others in my name. Many thoughts and many feelings have been sponsored by causes not of my direct creation. Many experiences result from this. The challenge is one of discernment. The difficulty is knowing the difference between messages from God and data from other sources. Discrimination is a simple matter with the application of a basic rule. Mine is always your highest thoughts, your clearest word, your grandest feeling. Anything less is from another source. This is very important to know, very, very important. When you have feelings or thoughts that it looks negative. So mine is always your highest thought, your clearest word, your grandest feeling. Anything less is from another source. So why you say there is no such thing as the devil? Huh? Because if there is two polarities, right? If one is good, another one bad, so the other source is the bad one. But yet, why he says that it is all there is? It is the bad, the good, the up and down, alpha, omega. And how come he says from another source? You see how crazy is this? How there's a discrepancy and it's so inconsistent. It's so crazy. So paradoxic. Now the task of differentiation becomes easy, for it should not be difficult even for the beginning student to identify the highest, the clearest, and the grandest. Yet will I give you these guidelines. The highest thought is always that thought which contains joy. The clearest words are those words contain truth, okay, not falsehood, truth. The grandest feeling is that feeling which you call love. Anything else is a counterfeit. Joy, truth, love, and I would add also freedom. Joy, truth, love, and freedom. That's the path to clarity and truth. These three are interchangeable, and one always leads to another. It matters not in which order they are placed. Having with these guidelines determined which messages are mine and which have come from another source, the only question remaining is whether my messages will be heeded. Most of my messages are not. Some because they seem too good to be true. Others because they seem too difficult to follow. Many because they are simply misunderstood. Most because they are not received. My most powerful messenger is experience. And even this you I know, especially this you I know, your experience. Your word would not be in its present condition were you to have simply listened to your experience. The result of your not listening to your experience is that you keep reliving it over and over again. For my purpose will not be thwarted. Not nor my will be I nod. Your will get the message sooner or later. But how about their experience? I mean, how a child will know what they are doing as a teenager, a youth? They don't know. They need guidance. I will not force you to, however. I will never curse you, for I have given you a free will, the power to do as you choose. This you did once and key, and I will never take that away from you, ever. And so I will continue sending you the same messages over and over again throughout the millennium and to whatever corner of the universe you occupy. Endlessly will I send you my messages until you have received them and held them close, calling them your own. Who give us free will and key? My messages will come in 100 forms at 1,000 moments across 1,000,000 years. You cannot miss them if you truly listen. You cannot ignore them once you truly heard. Thus will our communication begin in earnest. For in the past you have only talked to me, praying to me, interceding with me, beseeching me. Yet now can I talk back to you, even as I am doing here. Of course you want to do away with the species, is it? Change species? So there's time for the cat to get off the bag. How can I know this communication is from God? How do I know this is not my own imagination? What would be the difference? Do you not see that I could just as easily walk through your imagination as anything else? I will bring you the exact right thoughts, words, or feelings at any given moment, suited precisely to the purpose at hand, using one device or several. You will know these words are from me because you, of your own accord, have never spoken so clearly. Had you already spoken so clearly on these questions, you would not be asking them. He's trying to say that this man could possibly have this kind of conversations going on. That must be some of the other higher power that is influencing him. Otherwise, he would not be asking the question. To whom does God communicate? Are there special people? My God, these people so full of egocentrism. Are there special people? Are there special times? Yeah, there's special time, not special people. But maybe there are also chosen one of God to do these Anunnakis. They select a few of their own bloodline. All people are special and all moments are golden. There is no person and there is no time one more special than another. Many people choose to believe that God communicates in special ways and only with special people, and it does, because this kind of communication comes only in a million, thousand years, when something big is coming and upheaval is coming, and not everybody is chosen to carry on, to be the conduit, will be the channeler. Okay, so yeah, you're not telling the truth. Yeah, there is a chosen ones and there are special times, alright. Many people choose to believe that God communicates in special ways and only with special people. This removes the mass of the people from responsibility for hearing my message, much less receiving it, which is another matter, and allows them to take someone else's word for everything. You don't have to listen to me, for you've already decided that others have heard from me on every subject, and you have them to listen to. by listening to what other people think they heard me say. You don't have to think at all. This is the biggest reason for most people turning from my messages on a personal level. If you acknowledge that you are receiving my messages directly, then you are responsible for interpreting them. It's far safer and much easier to accept the interpretations of others, even others who have lived 2,000 years ago, than seek to interpret the message you may very well be receiving in this moment now. Yet, I invite you to a new form of communication with God, a two-way communication. In truth, it's you who have invited me, for I have come to you in this form right now, in answer to your call. Because some people think that everything finished already, that this being won't communicate again because they already have done it 2000 years ago through many of the others messages like Jesus, Muhammad, and many Moses, Krishna, and many others. Do you understand? So they close up, they close, case close. They don't open their mind to new possibilities, to different, to his story repeating itself. They don't open their mind, so they stay there inside the box of fanaticism and of stagnation, I would say. Because if you don't start, you don't move forward like a water flow freely, you're gonna stagnate and you're gonna soon become septic. That's the same thing as a kidney. If this kidney is too toxic, with how to say, with toxic matters inside there, if you all kind of I forgot the word. There's a word to it. All kind of dirt, this toxicity, and those kind of gooey stuff inside the kidney, you may get sick. Okay, and you're not going to flow. Your blood, your urine, all not going to flow freely and clear. That's just an analogy, not a metaphor. Analogy. Why do some people take Christ, Jesus Christ, for example, seem to hear more of your communication than others? Because some people are willing to actually listen. They are willing to hear, and they are willing to remain open to the communication even when it seems scary or crazy or downright wrong. Those are the people who keeps an open mind, okay, who thinks outside the box and want to open their mind and then have new possibilities and keep on. Don't think that you have all the answers figured out by the experience of your previous ancestors or whatever. So, because life is about evolution and these beings are always boring and not changing things, and they want to move forward. And what they do is there's something that maybe differ from the past, from your past messages, that they want to say here now in this present time and period that we are living right now. Okay, so that's why minds are like parachutes. They function better once they are opened. We should listen to God even when what's being said seems wrong, especially when it seems wrong. If you think you are right about everything, who needs to talk to God? Go ahead and act on all that you know, but notice that you've all been doing that since time began. And now look at what shape the world is in. Clearly, you've missed something. Obviously, there is something you don't understand. That which you do not understand must seem right to you, because right is a term used to designate something with which you agree. What we missed will therefore appear forced to be wrong. The only way to move forward on this is to ask yourself, what would happen if everything I thought was wrong was actually right? Every great scientist knows about this. When what a scientist does is not working, a scientist sets aside all of the assumptions and starts over. All great discoveries have been made from a willingness and ability to not be right, and that's what's needed here. You cannot know God until you stop telling yourself that you already know God. You cannot hear God until you're still thinking that you've already heard God. I cannot tell you my truth until you stop telling me yours. Okay, yeah, make it. There's a point there I need to acknowledge and agree with that. That's true. But my truth about God comes from you. Who said so? Others? What others? Leaders, ministers, rabbis, priests, books, the Bible, ulamais, the Al-Quran, the Talmud, the Vedas, for heaven's sake. Those are not authoritative sources. They aren't. No. I'm gonna repeat again. What others? Leaders, ministers, rabbis, priests, ulamais, books, the Bible, the Al-Quran, the Talmud, the Vedas, for heaven's sake. Those are not authoritative sources. They aren't. No. Then what it is? Listen to your feelings. Listen to your highest thoughts. Listen to your experience. Whenever in one of these differ from what you've been told by your teachers or read in your books, forget the words. Words are the least reliable purveyor of truth. Purveyor of truth. There is so much I want to say to you, so much I want to ask. I don't know where to begin. For instance, why is it that you do not reveal yourself if there is really is a God exactly? But it's already give the answer already. For instance, why is it that you do not reveal yourself if there is a God and you are it? Why do you not reveal yourself in a way we can all understand? That's impossible because this cannot be God. But then again, a God, if there's or a God, which I think there aren't, the God is the cosmos, I believe that it would be indefinable. You cannot define it because it would be all over. So it's crazy to define a God. It is not that man called Jesus. It is not many others that you think it is. Okay, because it's not definable. Even some orthodox religion, conservative ones, think that they have the monotheist kind of God, but they too may be wrong because that their very God too belongs to the Anunnakis, and later we are going there. If I'm okay, I will still continue with this work and this material to help people to understand as they navigate life, because it's not easy to navigate life, and they need to understand everything that they don't know. They don't understand why it's so difficult, it's so complex. complex. So we must always find the truth to this puzzle, this how to say, this is an inconsistent kind of life. This is like most of the time it looks like a dream, or sometimes a nightmare, total nightmare from hell, depending on where you are, with who you are, etc. I have done so over and over. I'm doing so again right now. Wait, what you're not showing up? So the guy asking him, why don't you show up? And he say, I have done so over and over. I'm doing so again right now. But where? No, I mean by a method of revelation that is incontrovertible, that cannot be denied, such as appearing right now before my eyes is impossible. If this were the true God, it's totally impossible because it doesn't have a definition. I'm doing so right now. Where? Exactly where? Where? Everywhere you look. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. I'm doing so right now. Where? Everywhere you look. No, I mean in an incontrovertible way, in a way no man could deny. That's impossible. What way would that be? In what form or shape would you have me appear? In the form or shape that you actually have. Oh my gosh, it's so naive. That would be impossible, for I have no form or shape you understand. I could adopt a form or shape that you could understand, but then everyone would assume that what they have seen is the one and only form and shape of God. Exactly. Exactly. Rather than a form or shape of God, one of many. Correct. I agree. People believe I am what they see me as, rather than what they do not see. But I am the great unseen, not what I cause myself to be in any particular moment. In a sense, I am what I am not. Oh my god, that's funny. I know, I understand what you mean. I understand all about the subject, but it's really funny. So I'm gonna repeat. People believe I'm what they see me as, rather than what they do not see. Okay? Mean that they, if this being appear as a plant, they will say this is God. If appear as a monkey, this is God. Appear as an elephant, this is a God. If appear as a shape or a shadow, this is God. You understand? So the people will always define, because they don't open their mind to go into I know, I understand. It's very complex to say. I wouldn't say also that it should be in a polytheist way, okay? Because a God per se will not even be a polytheist. You will not be that monk, that elephant, that man in a cross, whatever. Do you understand? But it's everything, all splendor thing, everything. Especially so the good one. I'm sorry to say that, but I would say the good one. But for them, I'm wrong. I understand. For these beings, I'm wrong, because I'm limiting it. You understand? So he wants to be the bad and the good in a world where it's not even, let's say, real. Huh? It's a visual world. It's a temporary world. So, in a sense, this being is not describable. Alright? This is just a feeling. For me, God is a feeling. It's the atoms. It's just a feeling. Understand? The void, the atoms, etc. You cannot define it. That's this is so innocent and naive to think this way, and you can define your God. But if you do, okay, go ahead, define your God, make a monument out of it, make a statue. If you feel good about it, go ahead. It's up to you. But this being don't see themselves and that it's not exactly what it is. You understand? So this is he is what it's not. He not it is what it's not, because it's not a man, not a woman. Okay, it has no sex at all. But the anunnakis, yes, they can appear as a male and female. Yeah, they do. But the true God, the omnipotent one, will be genderless and formless. So people believe I am what they see me as rather than what they do not see. But I am the great unseen, not what I cause myself to be in any particular moment, shape or form. In a sense, I am what I am not. It's from the I am nothingness. That means, okay, this great idea, this great atoms, which is the cosmos, create something, and then create the density, and then create the material world, then it became, you understand? Became what he is not, so as to better experience itself as it is not. I don't know what you follow this. I'm following. I know, I understand as it is, but what I don't understand is why people have to suffer so much. I know it's not a real word, but it's still, I'm very sensitive towards the suffering of many people here. I would like to have some respite, some relief for these people. Do you understand? This is what I'm concerned about. Even though it looks like unreal, it's still real for us. And this being is supposed to understand. Okay? And be more sympathetic towards the plight of another. Oh, I mean, the part of it which is not. Because we are part of it which he is not. Do you understand or not? Everything there is, every atom, every molecule is a part of the all that is not. When you come to this level, people see yourself as crazy, but that's how the people who reach this level acts up. They say that they are totally out of the mind, because you cannot concept this being inside your mind, because your mind will play trick into you and I say, oh no, God is that man there on the cross, God is that man, that the statue, that the angry statue there, God is that tree, God is that elephant, that monkey. In a sense it is, but it is it is not per definition, it is not per essence, per origin. Do you understand? But it is a part of it, a molecule of it. Okay? Every people who goes very high in knowledge understands this concept. It's very simple. It's not very difficult. I suppose it looks complex because you have to go and then you have to kind of shake our foundation, and then you're going to destabilize our foundation, all our conventions, our religion convention, our cultural convention, right? Because they say, oh my God, all my time I once think that God wants this and that. You understand? And then when you come to these higher levels of knowledge and understand, you come to know that actually this being is all this, but at the same time it isn't. It is what it is not, and it is not what it is. It's a math in it, but it is what it is. Okay, so all you have to do is laugh about, and then take each moment. As long as you can breathe, the best thing in life is about breathe, about the atma, the breathe. You know, as long as you can breathe, so say, okay, thank you, multiverse, for my breathing, because I am able to breathe. Okay, the breath of life, the breath of the atoms. Alright, so just take life as it is. I know it's painful, most of the time it's painful. People bring us down, people put us down, but in the end, you don't have to be always together with people, or get into bad news always, because if you focus on bad news, you're gonna become very heartbroken. Your heart will break, because you don't have much the power to stop that. All the things that we see around us, which are negative. Okay, so all you have now is the today, this moment, this nanosecond. You don't have tomorrow, because tomorrow may not come. We never know, right? So always take life one step at a time, and every nanosecond. Don't put so much expectation for tomorrow. Live every moment today. That I come into the way that I come, and to it I'll always return. Yet when I come in one particular form, or in another a form in which I think people can understand me, people sign me that form forevermore. So in this sense, from what I can gather here, is that Anu, Enki, in Leo, all those parties and all the others gods, Jesus, are all one and only. Do you understand or not? I have a video that I had published, I think 2018, I guess, which explained that in the beginning I took it from what's his name, that guy there in America. He's a Greek guy, David Bass, is it? Andrew Bass. He explained that in the beginning this being was so big, was so large, that it could not contain in one word. And what he did was that it divides itself anew, or itself in several parts, as explained the cube of life, the tree of life, the Russian dolls, the Russian doll. It explains all this, the creation. So what happens is that this being is all there is in one and all in one. And I couldn't explain this better than what I'm trying here right now to explain. So yet when I come in one particular form or in another form in which I think people can understand me, people assign me that form forevermore. And should I come in any other form to any other people, the first say I did not appear to the second, because I did not look to the second as I did to the first, nor say the same things. So how could it have been man, God? Do you understand? So that's why people have this misunderstanding with religion, because they say only my one is true, your one couldn't be true, because God's not like your God, God's like my God, and then become this ignorance and misunderstanding, when in reality this is a being that is all there is. Okay, so you see, then it matters not in what form or in what manner I reveal myself, Whatever man I choose and whatever form I take, none will be incontrovertible. So it can appear as a woman, a female as well, an animal, whatever. Right? A female, male, because it divides its particles in many parts, many forms. But if you did something that would evidence the truth of who you are beyond doubt or question, there are still those who would say it is of the devil or simply someone's imagination or any cause other than me. If I revealed myself as God Almighty, King of heaven and earth, and I moved the mountains to prove it, there are those who would say it must have been Satan. That's true, that's very true, I agree with that. And such is and it should be, for God does not reveal God's self to God's self from or through outward observation, but through inward experience. And when inward experience has revealed God's self, outward observation is not necessary. You understand what it means? That as long as you understand, you go inside to find out the truth. It doesn't matter what you see outward of you, what your eyes cause you to see. That is not, it's not relevant. You understand? What matters is what your introspection tells you what it is. So you cannot find this being outside of you, but inside everything there is. Do you understand? I put it in a very simple form because I wish everybody to understand once and for all. So as soon as it should be, for God does not reveal God's self to God's self from or through outward observation, but through inward experience. And when inward experience has revealed God's self, outward observation is not necessary. And if outward observation is necessary, inward experience is not possible. So if outward observation is necessary, inward experience is not possible. Yeah, because you must go within, not without. You cannot do without, because if you are always being superficial, you're not going to understand things that is beyond your mind. So you cannot find the answers from the things you see around you. So it makes your inward experience impossible when you go outward, you go without. If then revelation is requested, it cannot be hard, for the act of asking is a statement that is not there, that nothing of God is now being revealed. Such a statement produces the experience, for your thought about something is creative, and your word is productive, and your thought and your word together are magnificently effective in giving birth to your reality. Therefore shall you experience that God is not now revealed. For if God were, you would not ask God to be. That's correct. Does that mean I cannot ask for anything I want? Are you saying that praying was off? What's that? Okay. Does that mean I cannot ask for anything I want? Are you saying that praying for something actually pushes it away from us? This is a question which has been asked through the ages and has been answered whenever it has been asked. Yet you have not heard the answer or will not believe it. The question is unanswered again in today's terms, in today's language. Thusly, you will not have that for which you ask, nor can you have anything you want. This is because your very request is statement of lack, and your saying you want a thing only works to produce that precise experience wanting in your reality. The correct prayer is therefore never a prayer of supplication, but a prayer of gratitude. When you thank God in advance for that which you choose to experience in your reality, you in effect acknowledge that it is there in effect. Thankfulness is thus the most powerful statement to God, an affirmation that even before you ask, I have answered. Therefore, never supplicate, appreciate. I don't know what to say about that. Sometimes also we are grateful to things, but nothing really works. But what if I'm grateful to God and advice for something and it never shows up? Exactly. That could lead to disillusionment and bitterness. Gratitude cannot be used as a tool with which to manipulate God, a device with which to fool the universe. You cannot lie to yourself. Your mind knows the truth of your thoughts. If you are saying, thank you, God, for such and such, all the while being very clear that it isn't there in your present reality, you can't expect God to be less clear than you and so produce it for you. God knows what you know, and what you know is what appears as your reality. Okay. But how then can I be truly grateful for something I know is not there? Exactly. Faith, if you have but the faith of soul, that's I already covered here. I'm gonna just finish this page and that's it. I'm concluded. Faith, if you have but the faith of a mustard seed, you shall move mountains. You come to know it is there because I said it is there. Because I said that even before you ask, I shall have answered. Because I said and have said to you in every conceivable way, to every teacher you can name, that whatsoever you shall choose it in my name, so shall it be. Yet so many people say that their prayers have gone unanswered. No prayer, and a prayer is nothing more than a fervent statement of what is so goes unanswered. Every prayer, every thought, every statement, every feeling is creative to the degree that is fervently held as truth. To that degree will it be made manifest in your experience. We need to say that a prayer has not been answered. Which has in actuality happened is that the most fervently held thought, word, or feeling has become operative. Yet, what you must know, and here is the secret, is that always is the thought behind the thought, what might be called the sponsoring thought, that is the controlling thought, or toxic people around us, putting bad, negative thoughts and evil eyes toward the eyes. If therefore you beg and supplicate, there seems a much smaller chance that you will experience what you think you are choosing, because the sponsoring thought behind every supplication is that you do not have now what you wish. That sponsoring thought becomes your reality. The only sponsoring thought which could override this thought is the thought held in faith that God will grant whatever is asked without fail. Some people have such faith, but very few. The process of prayer becomes much easier when Well, I think I said that rather than having to believe that God will always say yes to every request, one understands intuitively that the request itself is not necessary. Then the prayer is a prayer of thanksgiving. How so? But how not necessary when we lack things? If it's not a request at all, but a statement of gratitude for what is so, I don't understand. It's so crazy. It's all very crazy, and it doesn't work this way for many people here. So people have to say thank you for suffering, to have their life been destroyed, their loved one gone. That's nonsense. I know it might be a God, it's a being that says it God, but still it has, I don't know, it have to fix something that it has created. And with that, we conclude this material trilogy. Um, Trilogy means three, right? Three books, number 1, 2, 3, and the next that I have here, I have 14 Asia. I will do it later, much later time, because I have other things to cover about anunakis, and then we're going to learn more about um, life after death through the same author, Neil Donald Walk or Walsh, I don't know the name. So you're going to cover that later on. Home with God, to see more or less what happened after, with exclusivity and with details, what happens after you die. Okay, through their um, through their perspective or their word or their statement. I don't know what's really truth, understand? But they they say a lot of things there in that book, and I'm gonna pass it soon enough. As long as I'm okay, I will do. Okay, that's all.